Restocking storage room. Welcome back, guys. Hail and all that jazz. We're right into the thick of things. Let's just get rolling. By the end of the first week, you know you're being taken for granted. Never mind that you're the only person who actually knows what Excel is, let alone Twitter. Never mind that the dragon down at Caffeine Horde, calls himself George, has grown fond of you and gives you free cookies with your order now burnt crisp around the edges. That was a friggin' dragon perk I never even conceived of. Now all my dragon-loving friends are completely justified. Not that I really slandered them at all, but I didn't quite see the immense appeal they imbued this dragonkin friendship with. Now I can see it. My eyes are opened. Never mind that you hustle and get all your work done faster than anyone else could. Your coworker still looks at you like an outsider, and the golden sigil only gets you scorn from most of the denizens of the other world. Today, like most days, the reward for your hard work is more grunt work. Like you're more minion than magic. Olivia Singh, head editor, isn't one of the worst offenders. She's often too wrapped up in her corrections, forcing typos inside of magical manuscripts to change despite their desire to remain as they are. Her red pen blazes even as she calls you into her office. You wait as she tackles a particularly troublesome comma splice. Eventually, she addresses you. I forget her voice. Have you been to the Haas yet? Even as she speaks, she seems distracted, focused on something else. You haven't, but you ask her what she needs. Some otherworld snakes broke into our storage room here and ate most of our supplies, as well as a few copies of books we were supposed to send out to reviewers. I'd send someone else to do it, but we need those things right now, and the janitor is busy trying to beat back those snakes, so I'm sending you. Do try to get it done quickly. She doesn't seem to have much faith in you. Go down there and get us new pens, post-it notes, and copies of those books. Try not to get lost. Head towards the warehouse. The entrance to the warehouse is 3 floors up next to what is labeled the storage room, but currently sounds like it holds a wrestling ring, cheering, and everything. Check that out. You knock and a honeyed voice calls out from inside. Don't come in here. Hisses, scrapes. You'll only make them bigger. Cheers, a sword being drawn. Why did it have to be snakes? Back away from the door and just head to the warehouse. Yeah, we're in a rush. We want to be good. Oh, the portals in the other world. You've gotten used to the feeling of the portals by now, the way they cling to your skin as you enter, the way the air gets heavy and scented. You can't say it makes you feel good, just being in the other world makes you feel like shit afterwards, but it does make you feel alive, even when the exotic magic locations look more like a hoarder's house than anything you'd find in a Rebecca Butler book. Tall stacks of boxes, sizes and styles are piled on top of each other as far as the eye can see. Treasure chests perched atop cardboard boxes balance atop empty bird cages. To your left, thin hallways snake deeper into the warehouse, spitting quickly before dashing into the shadows. In front of you, a shuttered booth built into the wall of stuff has a sign that reads, Ring bell for assistance. To your right, a wide sweeping corridor cuts through the debris like someone has run a snowplow to make this road. It goes forward so far, the path seems to dissolve into a haze of darkness and dust motes. Let's do the thing with the assistance, I guess. The booth is obviously closed, covered up by thick planks of wood. You look around for the bell you need to ring for assistance, but find nothing. Oh, lovely. Well, crap. Let's go left. Just a few steps in, you already feel like you're in a labyrinth. A stack of cauldrons acts as a cairn, marking the first crossroads in this twisted warehouse. Let's go towards either the feeling that someone is watching, the sound of a stream, the smell of disrepair, or back. Let's go someone watching. I want to see who it is. A darkened orb sits on a pillar. You feel like you're being watched. You pass by it and your shadow warps uncomfortably. That's cool. Let's go towards the sound of a stream. This must be where Olivia Singh gets all that ink she uses. A river of it flows through the warehouse, bright crimson in a way blood never could be. You leap across the stream using footholds made of stained concrete and the remnants of crates. You try not to get any on you. Stuff like that only ever marks mistakes. Let's go to disrepair, I guess. In an unmarked box, there are thousands of sigils like yours, only while yours is golden and giving, these are rusted and decayed. You try to take one and it crumbles in your grasp. They were never meant to last. Interesting. Yeah, go to the trap. In a pile atop a box is a stack of glittering silver nets. They're soft to the touch, metallic, but flow like water over your fingers. Most of them have been ripped by something with tiny, persistent teeth. Ooh, a flicker above me! A scrap of paper floats its way towards you from above. You catch it, sigil burning on the page and in your mind, but the flames that, like the paper, don't turn it, nor your hand to ash. It keeps it trapped, tamed. That's what this sigil does. Let's backtrack. Let's go towards the growls. Something growls within closed boxes, a flash of a scaled tail, the glint of claws, a rustle of fur. Whatever it is, its shadow even looks menacing, and you make an effort to stay away. Oh, I'm lost in this maze. Let's go towards the right. You step down into the corridor. Despite being awfully messy, there is nothing of interest in the walls, only plain, poorly stacked boxes and a long way forward. Continue. You walk and walk and walk a little more. Everything looks the same. Keep walking. You walk and walk and walk a little more. Everything looks the same. Keep walking. You walk and walk and walk some more. Everything looks the same. You start to hum a little song. It echoes terribly as you continue to walk forward. Keep walking forward. You start to hum a little song. It echoes terribly as you continue to walk forward. Keep walking forward. Yes, it echoes terribly. A snow song can make this walk any shorter. How much longer is it? How much longer? You finally make it to something new, and pile of unopened post-it notes. You can't just take them. They are guarded by a ferocious beast. Well, a tiny ferocious beast. A mongoose huddles over the notes. A snarling, sinuous line of fur and fang. You try to shoo it away, but it does not budge. Capture sigil. You've never cast it before, but you've pieced together how from your week here. Some part determination, some part focus, most parts knowledge. And without a sigil taught to you, there had been nothing to test with. But now, the knowledge burns in your mind, and you can feel it spark in your fingers. You trace the capture sigil in the air. Nothing happens. Try again. You can do this! You can do this! You are more than just an intern, more than just a temp. You can feel the magic in your breath. Your eyes have been opened. You know you can do this. You wrangle your thoughts in the shape of the thing. Breathe it. Feel it. If you could, your veins would be twisted to trace its pattern. Your hair curled to follow its lines. Mind and muscle conspire together to force reality to buckle ever so slightly. The sigil is carved in the air and then launches itself at the mongoose. The creature twists and writhes under every stroke, but eventually the sigil sinks into it and it falls calm. Nose twitching, it grabs a pack of post-it notes and trots right up to you. You walk back down the alleyway, petting its soft fur as it coils around your neck. Tall stacks of boxes. Let's go to the shutter. Nope, still closed. Okay, we'll go left. Let's go, we're going in circles again. We have the mongoose now. How the heck does that help? Someone watching? Let's go to the growls. Anyone? No. This is a trap. Let's go to the growls. We're there. The trap. Disrepair. The snores. We did not go to the snores. Well, this is unnerving. There are heads propped up in jars among the boxes. At first you think them dead, until one of them snores and rolls in its jar. It seems they are only sleeping. Ooh, the rustle of wings. You come across a pile of cages, full to the brim with paper birds. The area is full of the fluttering of pulpy wings and the bright shine of sigils across beaks. Let's go to the Perfume of Paper. You find the pile of books you need huddled in a pile in the shadows as if they'd been running from something. They don't move as you approach, though, and you flip through them, skimming white words off pitch-black pages. They don't quite make sense to you, but maybe eventually they will. You cross the book off your list. To the distant glow! A perforated box at the top of a pile burns with an inner light that tosses strange shadows into the hallway. It flickers like starlight, and like stars, it's out of your reach. We have been everywhere. Everywhere, I say. We're going back to the right. Let's just rush to the mongoose. That's fine. Capture it. Nothing happens? Okay. Okay, well, I'm gonna fast forward, I guess. Well, I get lost in this maze. Oh, maybe this is new already. The boxes grow up and up like massive tree trunks. You weave between the stacks trying to make your way through what resembles a forest path. Really, the only difference between this and a real forest is that this wood is quiet, artificial, and dead. Forge ahead. The wood of boxes clears, and before you there is a bell. It's small and bronze and would look more at home on the desk of a hotel concierge instead of perched on a stack of taped closed books. Your journey here has proven only one thing to you. You definitely need assistance. Ring the bell! You drop your hand onto the tiny bronze bell and it rings. Once. Short and clear and sounding exactly like a normal bell. You look around. Nothing seems to have happened. You try to ring it again, but it makes no sound even as you pound your hand into it. Let's go back to the crossroads with the sigils. Let's go to the entrance. Let's go to the... Yeah, it changed. A flaming skull floats inside the once closed help booth. Despite not having any facial expressions, it still manages to look bored. It's like Bob the Skull. Hey, Skullman, where can I find these things on my list? You place the list in front of the flaming skull and ask for his help in finding... How do you know it's a he? I mean... I know you can tell the gender from a skull, but I don't think this character could. I don't think he's trained as like an anthropological genealogist type guy. Anyway, we ask for his help in finding these things among the piles and piles of stuff that litter the warehouse. Eyeless sockets look down at you, and it smiles. To the left, you can harvest the pens on the other side of the river, ink, obviously, and the books you need are near the paper bird cage or the stairs. Just go right until you hit your heads. It's easy from there. Then its face seems to contort, impossible since bones can't move the way muscles do, but its impression it gives nonetheless. The potion notes are tricky. You need to go far right from here, and I mean far, and take down that mongoose. It's a pain. There are several spells you could use to catch it, but the easiest is just to get rid of it. Just inscribe this banishing sigil in the air and it'll buzz off. Its flames curve to form a sweeping line, a series of circles, and a shuddering feeling of it not being wanted. The sigil is burned in your mind now. You got all that? Let's ask for a map, sure. How it rolled its eyes at you, you don't know, but it sure as hell did. Fine, here. You feel a glow in the back of your mind. All the locations will be much easier to find now. Cool. To the warehouse, to the left. You're gonna glow at me, right? Oh yeah, let's just go straight to the pens. Near the river, a group of glimmering reptiles lays near the flowing current. You harvest the tortoiseshell pens still attached to their tortoises. But now you'd think they'd have upgraded to ballpoint, but then again, you don't want to think about what those are harvested from. You cross pens off your list. To the books! You find the pile of books you need huddled in a pile in the shadows, as if they'd been running from something. They don't move as you approach, though, and flip through them, skimming white words off pitch-black pages. They don't quite make sense to you, but maybe eventually they will. Wait, I thought I already crossed books off my list. Did I just forget about that? I guess I did. Let's go to the entrance. Oh, we got everything. Okay. With everything crossed off your list, you return to the portal, nodding a goodbye to the skull. Your new mongoose sits heavy across your collar, but warm, in the same way a favorite toy or blanket might be. Reluctantly, even though you feel the air here poison your very being, you step back into your own world. Like always, your breathing is easier, your body is lighter, but only because there is an emptiness. Still, there is a certain comfort in your homeworld, despite its enmeshment with the mundane. Deliver supplies. Olivia Singh, unflappable editor, looks a little surprised at how fast you return with the supplies. Still, she seems to appreciate your talent. Good job, maybe HR was right about you. She takes a new pen and smirks. Take this, see if you can do anything with it. She hands you a dusty paperback, the pages curled and yellowed. This is for after work, you understand? You nod, gripping it tightly, eager to get back to your data entry, and more importantly, to get back home to the book. Taylor, like you, sometimes brings her work home with her. Tonight, she's sitting out in the dining room, sketchbooks spread out in front of her as she tries out a new technique on her favorite canvas, herself. You don't disrupt her as you head straight for your room and shut the door. The dull buzz of the needle acts as background noise as you crack open the tome and grin at the simple charms held within. Let's try it out. You can't just read this and not do anything. You feel excitement buzzing in your blood, almost in time with the metallic hum of the art being made outside. Picking up a pen, you walk up to your door and draw a sigil, curves bouncing in and out over the door frame. As the final line sinks in, the buzzing of the tattoo needle stops, just as you predicted, as magic cloaks the sound from entering the room. You spend the rest of the night performing simple charms and don't bother to contain your glee. It's not like Taylor can hear you anymore. In the end, it's only exhaustion that finally drives you to bed. That's every night. Checklist. Okay, maybe we can cram both 2 and 3 into one episode. Let's do this. With a yellowed paperback and smuggled notes, you begin to fuel your magical education. You soundproof your room, rot-proof the fridge, sigils litter the apartment, and even Taylor notices that something is different, even if the spell keeps her from knowing what. You feel like a character in a book, like Rebecca Butler studying magic under cover of night in Rebecca Butler on the Pillars of Storge. But every hero needs a villain, and every spell has a price. Today, the boredom of work is your punishment. While occasionally you'll get a meaningful task, it's still mostly struggling with Windows 95 and forcing sales numbers into Excel spreadsheets. You welcome the reprieve when a memo, one of those paper birds, flutters onto your desk. There's a stack of books outside my office. Take them and copy the following pages in the following quantities to send by mail. Must be done by today. Oh, wrong voice. Olivia Singh, head editor. She sends it like that every time. Never mind that you've been working here for almost 3 months now. You carry the books all the way to the copy room and get started. This is going to take all day. You can feel it. The copy room is a depressing little shack, curled up between the break room and the bathroom. A modified Xerox machine, decades old and littered with sigils, takes up most of the room. Beside it, a stack of old books rises all the way to the ceiling. Check out those old books, man. Here's one of the books you read about earlier in those financial reports. So you've married a mage. The copy that's toppled from the stack has had its cover ripped off. You're busy now, but you'll take a closer look later. Making copies is arduous work, even with the machine. Magical sigils, don't want to be copied. They want to sink into the paper, into whatever they're written on, and not budge, so each copy takes several tries. The light slides back and forth, trying to force a sigil to be tame. Keep copying. You spend half an hour trying to catch it. Oh, a flight sigil flickers away from the copier, I see. Flooding sigils should not be allowed in rooms with paper. The flight to make that copy leaves you damp and soggy for hours. A cockroach scurries out from under the machine. You hope it was summoned by the sigil. I'm going to keep copying as long as I possibly can. Flood. Flight. Flood. Roses and irises bloom from the copy machine. Vines sprout and cause a paper jam. You refuse to copy a fire sigil. You won't be held responsible if this place burns down. Okay, I'm going to give up soon. Okay, give up. The copy room. Oh, yeah, take a break. You keep a snack in your desk now and take advantage of the silence in your cubicle. You wonder if you'll ever get an office here instead of a desk hastily assembled in the hallway. You wonder if you even want one. On the way back to the copy room, you pass by the closed door of the break room. You hear Nigel Scott's self-important drone, and you're ready to ignore it until he says your name. Eavesdrop, of course. You lean in towards the door, hearing his low voice mutter. Oh, I still don't know why Caleb even hired an outsider as an intern, but we'll fix it soon. My nephew's looking for a job, and this would be a perfect place for him. A soft voice, one you don't recognize, replies, It is better to keep it to ourselves. You never know how outsiders will react to magic. You can't listen anymore. Oh, can't I? Old book. Let's read this old book. Taking a short break, you page through So You've Married a Mage, and there it is, the sigil you are most familiar with, the sigil that gave you magic. It's much clearer on the page than on your tiny golden amulet, and with what you know now, you think you could do it. But it's complicated, and the moment you look away, you can already feel the details slipping from your grasp. Make copy, fool! The sigil does not struggle, not as you copy it, nor as you tuck it into your pocket. The world seems brighter for a moment before it fades back into the reality you've come to know. Yes? That's a green light, a terrible chill. You don't want to know what that sigil is. Just keep copying like nothing happened. The toneless sound of the copier, going back and forth, gets stuck in your head. It's catchier than any pop song. You still refuse to copy a fire sigil? Indeed. A hot wind fills the room. I'm sorry, I had beans for lunch. It leaves you smelling like fabric softener, only not the brand you use. Interesting. This sigil does nothing. At least you hope it did nothing. Right. Okay, we're done. Call it a day. Today had felt particularly trying, exhausting in a way even the toxic otherworld can't achieve. You trudge back home, ignoring the flickers of magic you keep catching out of the corner of your eye. But home, as always, feels pretty great. Taylor's already there before you, touching up her newest piece. Rough day at work? You think of the hell that is the copy room and feel something rise in you, bitter and burning. Let's talk. You can't take it anymore! You let it all out. The frustration, the crushing soullessness of how they treat you. You like the work, whenever they actually let you do things with the books, but the rest makes you feel so disposable. You even tell her about the magic, about how thrilling it is to even do the simplest tasks because it's all tangled up in this brand new world. Your golden sigil burns as you spill all your dirty secrets. Once you finish your rant, she nods, her mind already forgetting the details of magic, but remembering all the rest. What assholes. Well, if they're using you, you should just use them back? Isn't there something you can get out of this? Connections? Free books? Something? There is something. You have taken something more valuable than musty old paperbacks. The copy of the viewing sigil, the one that opened up the world of magic, is still folded up neatly in your pocket. With the amulet, it is temporary. Taking it off could leave you vacant and unknowing. But now you had this sigil. Yeah, just tattoo it on me. You have an idea, and it sounds ridiculous, but what if they couldn't take the sigil from you? You slide the design over to her, and her eyes light up in understanding. She's thrilled, having wanted to use you as a canvas since you first met. Within moments, she's all set up, sterilized and ready. Where do you want it? I want her to have it too. She frowns and looks down at the sigil again. I don't know, it's a bit abstract. But you cajole her, explaining that it would make you less nervous. You lie because you can't stand lying to her over and over again night after night. In the end, she caves. You knew she would, and magic snaps and crackles as she draws on the both of you. She stares at her own sigil, glowing with boundless energy, and remembers, in the dead of the night, her smile seems bright with possibility. Thank you, she says. And you spend the next few hours showing her what you know. Her lines are crisp and clear in the air, and when you finally fall asleep, you dream of magic. Nothing ever changes at work, though. Endless numbers, endless slights from the staff. In the end, you aren't really surprised. When HR calls you into the office, the receptionist looks at you with pity. It's a shame, Mr. Hoth says, eyes shining like pits, but I'm afraid you're not quite the fit we were looking for here. You swallow heavily as the euphemism for "you are fired" hits just as hard as if it had just been said outright. But that isn't the worst of it. We're going to need your viewing sigil, he says and holds his hand out to you. Give it back. I don't need it, fool. You knew this couldn't last forever. Still, you move a bit reluctantly, urged on by the weight behind his voice. No matter what you might really want, you drop it in his hand. It's as if the world should have ended, and it didn't. The sigil drops, and the world stays just as it is. Mr. Hoth's eyes are still depthless pits, and he smiles and hands you some glowing reference letters. You leave as soon as you can before they notice the books you've stuffed in your bag, though you doubt they ever will. Still, you can't run from the heavy weight of what you've done, and what you've taken from them. Not just the books, but the secrets. You only feel like they won't just show up and try to take it all away once you get home and close the door. That night, you and Taylor celebrate. You laugh and sip elf-made wine deep into the night until your muscles and mind are loose from warmth and fatigue. You know, Taylor says, iridescent with her new knowledge, we really shouldn't keep this all to ourselves. You have a feeling she isn't referring to the wine, and you ask anyway. Well, if all it takes is a tattoo, then we should just do it. Spread the word. I'll show all the artists, take it to all the trade shows. We could blow this world wide open. Smile! She makes it sound like such a good idea. Drunk off power and wine, you both stumble to the computer, conspiracy thick in the air. It might not change much. Hell, it might not change anything. But a simple sketch and click and the sigil is up. Taylor keeps making plans about getting everyone she knows this tattoo, but you can only stare at the page. The world is full of magic. Isn't it high time everyone knew it too? The end! I only reached one ending. Interesting. So cool. Choices that determine an ending are only found in your final to-do item, but you may have missed some information in the others. So try again. Got it. I will do this probably on my own time. I'm not going to record it. I'm just curious. So yeah. Thank you guys for watching this. I'm not going to reiterate the plea for feedback I did in part 1, but placeholder it here. Thanks for watching, guys. See you in the next video. Signature sign off.